Welcome back, everybody. How are you? I know it's been super long since I posted any videos, but yeah, life's been lifing. Anyways, I know you don't want to hear about what's been going on with my life. You want to hear about what's going on with the car. So last year my plan was to buy a new engine, put it in the car. Well, not a brand new engine, but a used Type R engine, put it in the car, and then go racing, right? While I took time to rebuild the one that was in my car. That didn't work out so well. So ended up buying another engine, put it in the car, started making some weird noises. Nothing too detrimental, but still significant enough where I didn't feel comfortable driving it, let alone racing it. So the car still has the old 98 spec Type R engine in there with, that smokes a little bit. But other than that, that car runs great. So I've got another engine here, the one that I got last year, sitting on the stand. I had put it in the car. I put a whole bunch of nice stuff on it. If you guys followed along on Instagram, I'm sure you saw. But anyways, I got to take this thing apart. So I'm going to make a little series about taking this Type R engine apart. Now, I'm sure there's a whole bunch of videos out there that show you how to take apart a Honda B series engine. So some of the stuff is going to be a little maybe repetitive, but this is just how I do it. So I'm just going to get right into it. But before I do, just want to tell you guys, again, this is how I'm rebuilding my engine, right? Nothing super special, nothing fantastic. But again, this is how I do it. There's a million ways to do it. Well, there's probably only one right way to do it. But this is how I'm going to do it. Follow at your own risk. Let's get into it. So this is my engine that I need to rebuild. It is a 96 spec JDM Integra Type R engine. It looks great, right? It looks like it should just go right into the car. That's because I cleaned it all up. I had painted it. I had put a whole bunch of new parts on it, like a 4-piston oil pump. I had a spare Type R valve cover that I had put on it. But I'll give you a quick walk around, show you what I've got, what I've upgraded from stock, and then, obviously as I take it apart, you'll see why we're rebuilding it. So Moroso oil pan, love this thing. I've got it in the other engine right now. This thing is fantastic. Nice baffle in it, really good stuff. I like running the timing covers, keeps any rocks out of there. But yeah, I've got my 4-piston oil pump, all right, keeping this thing nice and lubricated. When I had done it, I bought all new bolts for everything. I know, I'm a stiffler like that. So this thing will be really nice once completed. I've got 3 breathers on the back of the engine. These 2 would go to a catch can, and the bottom of the catch can would send oil back to the pan. Well, back to the block. I like to run the S2000 big oil filter. That's just my preference. I've got this cool little K-tuned oil adapter. This thing is great. I've got my oil pressure sensor that bolts down here at the bottom, if you can see. It's out right now because it's in the other car. And then the factory one. All right. Other than that, this thing is fairly stock. All right, I did some springs, retainers, and that's really it. So we're gonna start taking this apart. I'll show you where I start, and I'll probably end up doing like a voiceover or something because it'll be easier that way. So let's start taking this beauty apart. First things I'm starting with is obviously valve covers gotta come off. Then timing covers, then crank pulley. Then I got to take the flywheel off, right? And I want to separate everything I need to from the head, set it aside, get the head on the stands that I've got. So let's get the cylinder head off first, and then we'll go from there. So basically, as you saw, I took the little cover off for the tensioner, undid the timing belt tensioner, loosened the timing belt. All right, I took the valve cover off, which exposed the cam caps, the rails, all of that stuff. In order for me to get the cams out, right, you see this loop here, the cam sticks out. I have to take the gear off of the cam itself, right? So I've got the cams here. Make sure I keep the keys, right, the little Woodruff keys, keep those safe. And yeah, so now I'm just gonna neaten this stuff up a bit. That is a brand new valve cover gasket, so I'm probably just gonna put that back on the valve cover, flip it over, store it, and then I'm gonna start working on taking the cylinder head off. So I know I still have some coolant in here, so I'm gonna drain as much coolant as I can out of here, drain the oil right out of the oil pan, and then I'll start pulling the bolts for the cylinder head. Coolant and oil drained the best I can. Next thing I'm doing is taking off this crank pulley. Right, wiggle that off. This key right here, super important. Do not lose this. This little guy right here. Whoa, that I just dropped it. Don't be like me. Save it. Don't lose that piece. You need that. So, took that off so I have easy access to these covers, because if you see, this top timing cover has a bolt that's attached to the cylinder head. So, I'm going to pull all these covers off, pull the timing belt off, and then I'll start taking all the head bolts out. These are all factory head bolts. Bam, here it is. Head is off the block. Block looks pretty nice. Actually, the surface looks really nice. Head is on the stands. You see, I told you these stands were pretty cool. All right, holds the head in place. It goes right into the hole where the stud goes through. Now, I'll take some time and pull the rockers out. I'll explain how I do that later. I got to take the valves, springs, retainers, all of that off. VTEC solenoid, give them a bare head so they can change the valve guides, put new valves, do the valve job on it, and all the other stuff. All right, so like I said, I want to take this apart first. So what I did is I set up some microfibers. I need to take out these two Allen head bolts, right? Once I take out these two Allen head bolts, these two screws need to come out, right? It's a M5x1, so I'll thread in a screw, pop, pop, they both pop out. And now I can start pulling the shaft that's in the middle out, and I'll take the rocker assemblies, one assembly at a time, place it on the rag. Another rocker assembly, place it on the rag as I pull the entire rocker shaft out. Now make sure you keep everything set up for its respective side, right? So exhaust, all the exhaust stuff stays with the exhaust, all the intake stuff stays with the intake. All right, so I'm just going to time lapse through it. Okay, rocker assembly is out, right? So basically all I did was I took a screw that is an M5x1mm thread pitch, threaded it into this, pulled it out, put it aside, unthreaded it, and went to the next one, did the same thing. Now, I took a pick, a 90-degree pick, all right? Because once this is out, I can get the pick in here, hook, and pull the rocker shaft. So as I pull the shaft out, each rocker comes out. Now, these go in a specific order, right? Don't mix up the order of them. Right, so the one closest to the VTEC solenoid has that little pin in it. Then this cylinder actually locks in your VTEC. It's for the middle one. And then the last one stays there together. So I take them off, I put them on a rag, and then I slide the shaft through them so I keep everything together. Now, big note to remember. The orientation of these two pieces is very important. Right, I don't know if you guys can make out, this one has a little raised edge on it, right? Rubber gasket, cylinder, and then a smaller cylinder at the top. This one does not. So the one that does not have the extra top goes on the intake manifold side. So make sure you remember where these came off from. So I like to keep everything set up in a specific way, right? So the same way I have the cylinder head here, exhaust side facing me, intake side in the back, I have these set up the same way. Exhaust side here, intake side here. I'm going to take this, place it in the back of my bench, get a rag and cover it so it doesn't get damaged. Then I'll get into pulling out the valve springs, the retainers, and all the keepers. To take these valve springs, retainers, and keepers out, I use a little tool over here. There's a bunch of different companies that make this. But basically what it is, these screws and this bracket bolt onto the cylinder head. And if you look down the hole, I can see the valves, keepers, retainers, so on and so forth. So now this cup would go onto the retainer, right? And then this bolt right here threads into this, and as I tighten down the bolt, it pushes down the retainer, and then I can use a magnet and get the keepers out. I'll do this one to start, and then I'll do the rest. So take this, screw it down. Takes a little while, I'm doing it by hand. All right, gonna get a little wrench, put it on the back of here, screw this down. It's compressing the spring, but what's happening now is the valve is going down with it. So I need to give the valve a little tap just to send it back up to free up the keepers. Forgive me. All right, there it is. Valve is free. I can continue to send this down. Grab my little magnet. Put it in there. Magnet both keepers out. Back this out. Take this tool off. And now take the little cap off. The spring and retainer come out as one piece. Look at that. So now I'm going to set this aside so I can put it in the cylinder head after it's all rebuilt and refreshed. Push the valve out and off we go. Valve looks fairly decent. But yeah, we're putting all new valves, new guides, make this thing brand new. Alright, cylinder head's on the table. Took the entire valve train out. It's pretty bare. All that's left in there is the valve guides and the base seats and stuff like that. So I can see that looks like the intake valves were sealing pretty nicely, but the exhaust valves, on the other hand, were not. Looks like we had some leakage through here. Same thing there. All of them had some kind of leakage. So good thing that we're rebuilding this thing. Like I said, I'm keeping everything separate aside. This cylinder head now gets to go into a box. Right? Everything's taken out. VTEC solenoids out, everything. Bare head. They can take all the seals and stuff off, clean it, replace the valve guides, get some new valves. Those are already SuperTech springs, titanium SuperTech retainers, SuperTech lost motion assembly. So again, we'll do some valves, some guides, we'll reassemble everything, get the head cleaned up, get the bottom of it resurfaced so it's a nice flat surface. So that way when we rebuild this, everything goes together perfect. The cylinder head is packed up in a box, ready for the machine shop. I've got the blocks sitting right over here. I took a few things off already, like the alternator brackets, the post mount, the tensioner, the crank pulley, and stuff like that. All right, I like to keep all my stuff organized. All right, post mount bracket, belt tensioner, all of this stuff was brand new. You know, before I put this engine in the car. So everything should, gonna go back together fairly easy. Now what I need to do is get oil filter off, get these two oil cooler hoses off, pull off the oil cooler itself. Then I can take the water pipe and thermostat housing out completely. Then I'll pull the water pump out. Then, I've got some fittings back here, right, for crank breathers. I've got this oil pressure fitting back here that I'll remove. Then the oil pan, and then I can get to the rotating assembly. So I've got quite a bit of work ahead of me. So I'm going to get started on this now. All these components are out, right? First I started with the oil cooler. I had to get that out. That way I could get the coolant pipe out of the way. Once the coolant pipe was out of the way, I started taking the fittings out, right? Then the oil pan, gasket, the windage tray, oil pump. I left the pickup tube because I just put a new gasket on that. So I want to try and preserve that. Maybe I'll just get another one. It's like $6. So now I've got the rotating assembly here, the crank. Right, this is where all the magic happens. This is what's next. Let me organize this a little bit. So put some of these tools away, and then I'll get back to that. There it is. All the parts on the bench. Crank is out, rods are there, mains are there, girdle, everything is out. I still got to take out these studs though. But once those studs come out, everything is good. Then we get ready to send it to the machine shop. So with that being said, that is the end of the first episode of this series. I don't know, it's going to be maybe 3, maybe 4 episodes. Bear with me. I'm trying to do this as quick as I can, but I also got work and other things going on. So guys, thank you so much. I appreciate each and every one of you for tuning in. Hope this was informative. Little bit of a tutorial. Again, I am no professional. This is actually my first time pulling an engine apart, believe it or not. Well, my engine apart. I've helped somebody else in the past, but it's different when it's your own. So yeah, be easy on me in the comments. Or not. Just tell me what you think. Let me know what I could have done better. I'm already seeing things that I've kind of done in reverse. I probably should have taken the mains off, or at least the girdle, and then the rods, because that was a little bit of a pain in the butt. But anyways, again, thank you guys so much. I'll catch up with you next time. I hope you enjoyed this. For those of you who are new, hopefully you learned a little something. If not, maybe you experts can teach me something, and I would be greatly appreciative of it. So again, thank you. I'll see you soon. Be well. Stay safe. Until then, peace out.